Well, hello everyone and welcome back. It's the Summit 3 America Phase 2 qualifier. And we got a nice little matchup here for you. It's Leviathan taking on Wheel. We just witnessed, not today, 2-0 Void Boys.
Oh yeah. See you later, Void Boys.
Well, not see you later. It's we'll see you down in the lower bracket.
That's true. So, but now one series away from elimination. So still scary territory for them. And well, not today. They looked strong as ever. Smashing people.
Yeah. Well, we'll see here. Leviathan going against Wheel. I almost have it as a 50-50.
It should be. I haven't seen these two teams in their current forms too much, but it should be good. Let's go ahead and just jump into this draft, see what these teams are working on.
We got DDoS 2 here. We're hoping that we don't have a whole lot of Dota action happening our way, but as far as the draft at hand, it looks like Leviathan, they're going to be opening up with the Queen of Pain and then the Lion, and we got Wheel, who are going to be going with the classic duo, Vengeful Spirit, Bat Rider. So a lot of priority onto that great initiation, great lockdown. Overall, just game presence. It's just tremendous, really, what Bat Rider can add to a game. It just kind of sets the whole mood. You really don't know where you're comfortable, where you're safe. You get a gem in this guy's hands, and he just kind of controls the whole Dota atmosphere and just adds so much presence in and around that Roach Pit as well. Just no surprise why the hero is just always time and time again that first priority.
We've got stand-in IX Mike here playing the off lane, and that's one of the heroes that he's very comfortable on. Usually, you'll see Mike shine when he's on the Bat Rider. You know, sometimes he's hit or miss, but Bat is one he tends to be more consistent on. Very safe opener from Wheel. Really nothing too strange about it. Venge, Bat Rider, we've seen this harmonious duo quite a few times, and Queen of Pain, man, she is all the rage. Another one, kind of like the Bat, who's just so damn flexible. You can put her mid, you can put her in the off lane, and you can even put her in that like roaming 4 position that we've seen Z-Freak do quite a bit, and I know that's been all the rage, so both teams with very safe, very standard openers here to get things started.
I remember when I was casting with PyCat, who he was playing Quap a couple of times there for Alliance, and he was the one who played it in that kind of 4-position roaming support, and he was just praising how the hero's in such a nice spot now. That getting that early advantage of the 1300 range blink, you almost only need to put the one value point into it. You have great initiation. You can come in from afar. Great initial burst, and of course now her sonic wave being able to pierce even through BKB. It just adds a whole lot of utility to her. So not only attractive, but also a powerhouse on the field. So.
Yeah. She comes at you from multiple angles, distracts you with the cleavage, and then boom, hits you with some pure damage. When you're not quite ready for it.
Get you in the knockers, you know.
Oh yeah. But Earthshaker now for Leviathan, another safe support. Great pairing with the Lion. Great defensive capabilities there. They can defend their mid lane very easily, whether it's Queen or whether it's someone more like a Shadow Fiend who needs a little more help. You got defensive fissures. You've got Earth Spikes, Hexes. You're coming from all angles here. And a lot of kill potential on these supports as well.
Yeah, can't hate on all that lockdown. So that does change the pace a bit. I mean, you need something to prevent this Bat Rider from pretty much getting what he wants. So whether that be the instant Hex from Lion or the long-range stun from a Fissure Earthshaker. So works out beautifully in that aspect. And as far as the bans go, got to get rid of that PL here from Leviathan as well as the Disruptor Wheel. They get rid of the Slark and the Axe. And I also want to put a note out there, Leviathan, we haven't seen a whole lot of them recently. They did also move into a gamer house not that long ago.
Really?
Yeah, they are now in Florida. And, yeah, they're just doing the whole gamer house thing. You know, E-Hug tried it out for a while. They found some mild success, but really couldn't take it to the next level. And Leviathan think it's the answer. And this was a team that really started making a name for themselves in the Summit 2 when they made the run through that qualifier. When they first came in, they were known as Flipside NA, and then they became Leviathan, notoriously known for Jenkins and his Pudge antics. Shredder would play a Wraith King or maybe a Troll Warlord. This was back when Troll Warlord wasn't the freak he is now. You know?
Yeah, exactly. That was when it was like, whoa, this guy's playing Troll. What's going on here?
That's crazy. You never see that. Nowadays, it's like I would just love to see a game without Troll. So, yeah, it's funny, though, because overall they've been conforming to what's been working. They were previously known to be a team that's been thinking outside the box, but now they're kind of going with what's in style, which you can hate, but obviously it's the style that seems to be getting the most results.
Hate him because you ain't him, man. Pudge still getting the respect band that he deserves. Everyone's still afraid of that Jenkins Pudge, whether he's roaming, whether he's off-laning. He just works wonders with that guy. But here we go, Team Laser. Lena now paired with the Lion. There's some serious burst damage on this Leviathan draft. Oh my.
Yeah, pretty ridiculous right there. The Laguna Blade, we get that in Agnum Scepter, then you have all that burst, and it doesn't even matter if you got a BKB or not. So that's why it's nice to get something like Wheel did to get the Dazzle here to be your defender. You know, give them that second life so that when the burst comes through, they can kind of live on, and then your burst ends up going to nothing. So hopefully that's the case. Plus, they get additional sweet minus armor, positive armor synergy between the Vengeful Spirit and the Dazzle. Can't hate on that too much, but we need to get some late game here from Wheel.
Yeah,
so.
they need some big boys here. You look at this Leviathan draft and go, wow, this is scary. They've got some good lane dominators, huge burst damage, and they could really take some momentum in the laning phase and just never give it up. You look at this Wheel lineup, and so far you don't really know what the plan is. They've got some ideas, some great supports, but they need the big boys to bring it all together. Something like a Shadow Fiend could work very nicely to synergize with that minus armor. He's still in the pool.
Shadow Fiend would have to be careful. I just feel like there could be a lot of movement here from Leviathan, and Shadow Fiend is only at his best when he can push forward towards that level 5 without much contention, then be the lane dominator. But if he's opposed before that, he can run into some trouble. But there's going to be the Bristleback. You ask for some big scary boys. Now you got the good frontliner there, and your Bristle to soak in all that damage, and then in the late game can still be a powerhouse.
Yeah, and of course, great synergy with all that minus armor. Huge AoE physical damage, and his right clicks are nothing to scoff at. So how will they set up these lanes? With the Batrider, Bristleback, both of them usually the off laners, so probably more like a safe lane Bristle, and then I think this final pick will be the mid lane, Shadow Fiend. Good ban from Leviathan. I think that would have been the cherry on top to make this Wheel draft really quite scary.
Yeah, I mean, if they wanted to kind of be funky fresh, you can always do the S4 style mid lane Batrider, but yeah, more than likely it's looking like a safe lane farming Bristleback, and then mid lane, you know, we'll have to see where they decide to go from there. You know, something that Relic is good with when he does not have the option of a couple of these heroes, the Wind Ranger. It could be something we see. I don't think it would be too terrible.
It could be okay. Wheel really thinking hard about this final ban. They settle on the Wraith King of all heroes. Okay, we've seen Shredder play a pretty mean Wraith King. He loves that Radiance first kind of ability. That's a little different. But
when you have your Majesty out there, you got to have the best sword possible.
That's true. That's true. Well, interesting. Some more respect coming out against Leviathan. These NA teams, man, they know each other well.
They're really hitting Shredder hard here. The only other hero I think of that he could play outside of the ones that have already been banned or he's played as of recent is the PA at this point. And as far as what Phantom Assassin would be able to do with the lineup, aside from the fact that they'd have a lot of attractive women, leaves me to be a bit perplexed. I feel like PA could run to a lot of trouble here, you know, easily being able to get grabbed up from your Batrider. Bristleback could slowly run her on down. And, yeah, you know,
they have a lot of stun already. Most of them on AoE as well. They have a lot of flexibility here. And also, you know, you can always offlane that Earthshaker. I think most likely to be your dedicated support with like a safe lane Lena here. This is a pretty ambiguous draft, and this final pick should kind of piece it together a little bit. But some sort of tempo controller could be pretty good. I don't know. I feel like their draft is just lacking physical damage more than anything else. So they may want to grab more of a conventional carry in case they can't just roll over the lanes and kind of snowball for the win.
No, I certainly agree with that. They need someone to really kind of be their late game presence where you need that real right-click power. I mean, don't get me wrong. Queen of Pain and Lena can build into that, but it's just not natural.
They just have to keep killing to make it happen. So if Wheelwreck decide to play very defensively, kind of take a page out of that Cloud9 book and say, we're going to fight on our own terms only. That was sort of the moral of the story earlier when we saw Cloud9 fighting against Empire. And if they do that, that can just kind of neuter what Leviathan wants to do. Quap and Lena, not heroes that normally go for farming tools. So they have to make up for that somewhere, and usually it's in blasting with those lasers. But here you go, Morphling. Now for Leviathan, a nice synergy. That's somebody that'll probably get an E-Blade. And, well, there's a lot of magic damage to be buffed up here.
Morphling, man. This hero is slowly getting a bit more attention, and not from the usual aspect that we know from our Morphling. Your Black, your Lakel's Morphling players, where you just kind of rice it out, but we're slowly seeing a new submergence, if you will. I don't even know if I use that word appropriately, but submerge works with water. Yeah, I think I just got excited about saying submerge with a watered Morphling here, but the strength Morphling.
Oh yeah, the off-lane, that winter style.
I have been nerd sweating over it. I read up, checked out the Clan Iraq, and that is the name of their original strength Morphling guide back in January, and there's a lot of really interesting tidbits about that. I'd be happy to go more into it if it is going to be that kind of a Morphling. Technically, they have a flexible lineup, and that could be the case, and well, there it is. That's the Wind Ranger. This is a Relic special. He's been running a lot as of recent. One of the more recent dominant performances from Wind Ranger was that Pycat showing where he did the Slasher's Way. I don't think Relic likes to go the Slasher's Way, but this kid, he can land a shackle shot. That would even have Light of Heaven a little bit jealous, so something to check out.
Yeah, the Slasher build is very single target dependent. I think it is higher DPS than that Maelstrom kind of build that we see most Wind Rangers go for, but the great thing about Maelstrom is it gives you huge AoE damage to just farm more effectively, and you can clear out camps that much more fast, move through the jungle, and I think it's a little more well-rounded, but we'll see what he wants to go for here. Very interesting. Shredder will be the one to take the Morphling, though, making me think that, well, it could be just more of your standard Morphling here headed to that safe lane.
All right, exciting stuff, folks. We're going to get into it here. Sorry for the absence, I guess, but BTS is back, and we're casting some America action here. It's Wheel taking on Leviathan here in a best-of-3, Phase 2 of the Summit 3 America. Battling their way, they want to make it here to the house and get a piece of that huge and sexy prize pool. But they got a long road ahead of them here. For your Dire side, we got the Leviathan squad. Used to be known as Flipside NA, and they made their name all the way through their qualifier run into the Summit 2, and now look where they are. Newsham, he's going to be playing what looks like your leading out front Lion as they do this aggressive smoke play. This is something Leviathan just love to do. If they have the opportunity, it doesn't need to have a jungler or not. They would just love to get an early initiative here, and they could potentially here on the backside of Relic. There's Newsham moving on forward. Can he get the Earth Spike? He's going for the Hex. The Fissure's going to connect. There's the Hex shortly after, and now the waveform forward. They are committed on this Light Strike array. They have landed everything but the Grave. Going to be leveled up right now from Goody on the Dazzle. Relic is fine, but will eventually go down. Jenkins is the one to pick up that first blood on the Queen of Pain, and Leviathan are successful on their early ganking expedition. But let me go ahead and finish out the rosters now that the excitement has ended here. Yeah, Jenkins is going to be playing that Queen of Pain. He does get the first blood bonus. Shibby on your Lena. Shredder indeed is going to be playing the Morphling, and last but not least, we got Flying Zebra. He's going to be playing your Earthshaker.
Oh yeah, a dream for Leviathan to get this game started. Like you mentioned, they love to do those smoke plays into the jungle, and against some more experienced teams, perhaps that doesn't work out. A lot of teams will see it coming. Your EGs, your most namely, but Wheel, they fall for it, and of all the heroes who got that first blood on, it will make Relic's life a little more difficult, though. They kill him early enough that he's able to get back and block the lane at least pretty well, and it'll be a break even here to get things started. So, on the side of the Radiant, Team Wheel wreck whilst whistling. IX Mike, they're standing here in the off lane on the Bat Rider. Relic, he'll be in the mid on the Wind Ranger. Derp, he'll be roaming around here on the Vengeful Spirit. And down bottom, that leaves us with Sleesel on the Bristleback. And our Dazzle here, played by Goody.
Haven't seen Sleesel play a lot of Bristleback as of recent. He typically likes your traditional Troll Warlord, Jug, those kind of heroes. Bristle seems to be something that, you know, maybe is a niche pick in this kind of situation. I'm pretty eager to see what he's going to be able to pull out with it, but he does have aid here in Goody, or Fanasoyon as he's also known. He's going to be playing the more babysitting support Dazzle. But this also makes things a bit better for Jenkins, not being pressured from 2 different zoning supports. He can kind of get close enough on the Queen of Pain to at least soak in some easy XP, and if he can occasionally land a CS, that makes it all the better.
Yeah, so it is indeed that off-lane Queen of Pain, and I think she does work pretty well in this role, all things considered. She can recover pretty well. Curious to see what build he'll go for also. That Yule's First is a great utility item that you can't really go wrong with. Off-lane Quap, I don't think you can really count on an Orchid, so that opens you up for, if not a Yule's, maybe something like that Aghanims to get a bit more tanky and be able to spam out that ultimate. Also curious how IX Mike will end up doing. He's got 4 last hits out of the off lane and already level 3. The Dire did put down a ward to block the hard camp here in the Radiant jungle, so you won't have those stacks to rely on, at least not for the first few minutes. But he's doing okay in the lane, and here we'll see him get initiated on by that top rune, and he'll be just fine, at least for now. Fissure will connect, but LSA, that one will be off the mark. And Mike will just fly back down and start harassing Shibby before he goes back to safety.
Yeah, any pot shots he can get out on Shibby certainly is welcomed, forcing him to use that early bit of regen, keep him away from the lane a bit, and help Relic kind of recover a bit more. He's got that early null, and he's doing just fine. 9 and 4 CS for him to Shibby's 5 and 3. He's off to a nice little head start. Very well versed. Both of these mid laners, man. Shibby notoriously known for being a huge brew player back in the day when brew was just like all the rage. First pick, first ban, getting a lot done. Try to rush, get the blink dagger, and back then it was all about getting an Aghanim Scepter. now sporting the Lina, one of the new era as far as the mid laners go. Just that tremendous amount of attack range to work with and huge burst potential later on. And Relic, you know, has been made a name for himself, or at least, you know, a lot of people were really percolated over the fact that he was able to beat Arteezy in the NEL 1v1. So, big stuff.
Yeah, I mean, it's a name that you'll recognize if you've been around Dota for a pretty long time. Relic's been a pretty staple player for years now, and not surprised to see him starting to get some much-deserved love for his skills in the mid. I feel like every time I can't think of a game I've seen him on Wind Ranger where he did not look good as an individual, even if his team didn't have a great experience. He certainly has dominated his fair share of mid lanes, but it's IX Mike that's in trouble this go-around. He's already had to abandon his off lane, and that's opened up space for Nushi and Shredder to start chipping at this tower. It'll go down to about half health, and Mike, feeling the hurt of his hard camp being blocked out, he killed an easy Alpha Wolf pack right here, was scouted out by the Dire side, and well, they've got eyeballs on how difficult this early game is here for the Bat Rider. Level 4 now, Tranquil boots up. The quest for the Blink Dagger begins.
Not much early aggression coming out. I mean, little footsie trades here and there like we saw on Mike by the rune earlier, but ever since that very early first blood, we're not seeing a lot of roaming ganks. But now it's 4 minutes, the runes to spawn. We might see some potential tiffs here. It's this Jenkins who's actually able to easily grab up the bounty rune here on the bottle in the bottom lane, and he'll take that right back in. And now Goody going to go on a little bit of adventure, or at least head towards this mid lane area here to be side by side with Relic. But let's touch base here with top lane. So IX Mike, obviously, he picks up his Tranquils, heads back to lane. He actually gets a full creep wave here. He's going to pull back and burn on down.
Yeah, that's
and
nice.
I'm worried. Let's see. Do we have any stacks built up for him here in the jungle? I'm not seeing a whole lot.
They blocked out the one hard camp, and the other one's kind of been scattered out. Supports have had to put a lot of pressure on this Queen of Pain, and they still haven't really been able to zone out Jenkins. Down bottom, he's leeching XP. He's halfway through level 4, and he's got 8 last hits. All things considered, he's done very well, given that it's been a 1v3 pretty much this entire match.
Yeah. We'll have been trying to pull back the creep wave, make it as easy as possible here for Sleesel, who is 21-4, but
they're going to have a go at Mike, I think.
They want Mike. Shredder is creeping back behind the tower here.
Not your easiest gank, though. If they want him, they're going to have to do it fast. Morphling, not yet level 5. Yeah, he does have a waveform, though. Looks like the bat will be okay. He did use his Firefly. They may try to time this while it's on cooldown so he doesn't have a get-out-of-jail-free card. But they will have to time this just about properly and also hope that Mike makes that fatal misstep. And they will not wait it out. Zebra just heads back towards the mid lane, and they'll continue to slow siege this tower and stop the bat from really doing a hell of a lot.
Yeah, now it looks like maybe they want to put some attention towards this mid lane here, but they did have a ward up by the top rune here. They could have seen the Earthshaker rotate in the area. Relic in a nice position here on the south side of the mid lane, so that if they are coming in from the north, they'll see it and have plenty of time to react and adjust his positioning so he doesn't get in too much trouble. So kind of similar to Shadow Fiend, he'll just work with the side camps here for now and find some farm that way. But I do like this Leviathan ward here. They know that he's actually doing the side camp, so they get that little bit of extra intel. Not really taking advantage of it quite yet. Jenkins is in the area, but that's just for the 6-minute regen rune that he has picked up now. And
up top, look at this. Mike just got another full creep wave by pulling that aggro away from the tower. Even clears out the medium camp. And you know, I've kind of been harping on him not having a lot of space to farm. He's now about halfway to that Blink Dagger. This is shaping up to be a decent timing. And I do feel like Leviathan should be trying to punish this a little bit more. Letting the Bat Rider just walk behind your tower, pull the creep wave all the way to the top rune, and getting out scot-free, not even a stun to soften him up. Well, they're going to feel the pain here. Mike smoked up with the supports. He's not level 6, though. He's about 1 creep kill away from the lasso. They will move to the high ground.
Oh, this is a stack-stealing expedition, maybe. Or
is it, though?
Long rope around here to find someone in the jungle. They ping out the stack.
Nearby.
Their smokes pop. Zebra shows himself. Uh-oh. They could be in trouble. First sticky. Mike takes flight. And without being level 6, does not have lasso, but they will not need it as they just kind of swarm around him, get the magic missile stun, and
supports here,
goes
though.
Down.
They want to punish this. Mike's going for the big camp instead. They'll chase Derp off to the side. I don't know if they've even scouted out Mike killing this big stack. They focus hard on the Venge. Nushi there with a Hex after the stun. Shallow Grave comes a little bit early, but Derp, he'll just TP home. No way to stop it. Dazzle, however, gets left behind and killed by the Quap. They do punish this, but well worth it for the Radiant side. Only a big Dark Troll Summoner left over. And I think Mike really the big breadwinner there now. 2/3 of the way to that Blink, though. It does come at a cost here, Dakota. It does hand over Shredder a free tier 1 tower in that top lane.
Now we're seeing some shoes here for the ladies. Payless shoe store, I suppose, having a little bit of a bargain sale here.
Bargain bonanza!
Yeah, very nice stuff. His Relic was able to put together some phase boots for the Wind Ranger, and on your Queen of Pain, she's sporting some pretty sweet little power treads here as she heads back towards the bottom. But it is Relic. The second he gets those phase boots, he stains blood all over him as he's going to be taken down at Chibi, debuting the Laguna Blade and zapping him on home.
That was just Relic not respecting the power of a level 8 Lina. Simply just a little too low on health. Lina drops rotation, and he wasn't quite at full, but from whatever, 80% to 0 in just a blink of an eye there. 3-1, Leviathan getting some decent momentum and pulling ahead by about 2k net worth. These are the kind of kills they need to find for a lineup like this to really come to fruition into the mid-game.
Looks like it's smoke time here. Newsham's got the good stuff. He's going to pop it out right now, and it looks like we got a 3-man hunt here from Leviathan. Would love to maybe get some work done on Sleesel's Bristle back here, but it is a tough shell to crack. So it looks like they're going to head elsewhere. They're going to cross paths immediately with Mike. How's it going? Immediate Hex. There goes the Scream, the Sonic Wave, and the Bat Rider goes down. And that is a big pick for him because Mike was on the way to getting a Blink Dagger
now
here.
Now they steal the stack. This is even better.
Man. Yeah, they deny him all that gold towards his Blink, and now they take all this sweet side farm. That hits him hard. That is a real good strike to the economy of your Bat Rider.
Brilliant. So, Shredder on the Morphling. I was thinking this could be a game where he just wants to rush an E-Blade. We've seen a few Morphlings do that. Just go for the shotgun straight up. And, well, I guess it could happen here. He's picked up a Ring of Aquila as well as a Ring of Health. Could be the beginnings of that standard Lincoln Sphere, though. I do feel like that build's fallen off a little bit. This meta is a little more about being active early on and that 20 minutes of just passive early game while your hard carries can free farm away a bunch of luxury items. Not really where we're at right now. So, curious how Shredder switches things up. Not the best Lincoln's game. Of course, good against the Bat Rider, but Bristle will be able to break it with that viscous nasal goo very easily here. So, although a good item on Morphling, kind of regardless of the passive there, just for the base stats and regen, I don't know that this is the best game for it when they could do something maybe a little more aggressive.
We'll have to see. It feels like Leviathan just want to see what they can get done with these two ladies between Lina and Queen of Pain to kind of create a lot of attention and create a lot of space so that the Morphling can really thrive later on. Wheel, a similar game plan that has a bit of a shorter time clock as it's a Bristleback. I think Bristleback should be able to kind of come into his own shortly. Next thing you know, after he completes out a Crimson Guard, could throw together an S and Y, and then he actually hits pretty damn hard in synergy with his Warpath Ultimate. So something to definitely keep an eye on. And it's not an easy target to kind of gank early and try to keep in check. So he's going to be having the time of his life here. He now has his Vanguard complete, and we'll have to keep eyes here towards mid lane because Derp is smoked up with Goody. And they're seeing if they can find any sort of action here.
They really want to make this happen. Venge level 4 and level 5 on the Dazzle. He has gone for a hybrid build, 1-2-2. Rather defensive, though still has that first point in the Poison Touch to find some initiation. This time, though, the smoke will be rendered unsuccessful. Wheel, gonna get down some aggressive wards during, well, their first smoke before that. Looks like they've still got one of the high grounds. So they see exactly what Shredder's up to here, just stacking and farming in the jungle. Very aggressive wards, but so far have not really yielded a hell of a lot. With Leviathan still hanging on to about the same lead they had, somewhere around 1,500 gold.
It's nice to have those bit of wards. You can look to set something up as soon as Mike's able to finish out his Blink Dagger, which he will have here, and then some. He is tearing apart 3 different camps that have been aided by Derp, and with that he can head back to base. He's got plenty of money for a Blink Dagger plus a smoke. And when he looks to make that debut of the Blink Dagger, he would hope to walk away with a couple of heads. So we'll see if he'll be as lucky to do that. Where do you think is going to be the priority target? I mean, is it using those jungle wards to see if you can get a quick grab on your Morphling? He could be a slippery one.
Yeah, not the easiest hero to lock down ever, and especially with this draft, you've got no silences, and that's really your golden ticket to stopping the Morph from, well, doing what he does best, morph that strength and just waveform away. If they want to kill him, they've got to do it fast, and even the lockdowns won't quite be enough unless they can catch him in a very silly position when he's already at low health. So I think they need to try, leaving this Morphling to farm on his own. He's been the net worth leader this entire game, and I don't know how that's going to change if they don't pressure him. There's no farming tools picked up on Wheel, get a Vanguard on the Bristleback, so now he's in fighting shape, but not your best farming item. Wind Ranger going straight into the Aghanims, you know, no Midas or anything like that, and Well, now Mike, he's got himself a Blink Dagger. But I feel like Wheel really lacking on the carry potential here when this Morphling is getting so much space.
They're looking for something to happen on bottom, but there's nothing really there. Meanwhile, Jenkins, who's picked up an Invis rune, is stalking around this mid lane to see if he can maybe cross paths with anyone. Relic was nearby, but he seemed to kind of go through the other side, and they didn't really catch each other out. So top lane seems to be the next best bet. Goody is way forward at this point, and it's just a 1-2 punch right there from Nusham. No problem whatsoever. No chance to grave. No chance to pray. You're done.
Well, he might have had a chance to pray, but his prayers weren't answered that go around. That is tough. Now in the bottom lane, it'll be Wheel that get aggressive. Mike shows off that Blink Dagger, jumps on Jenkins, pulls him right into the team, but Jenkins lives. He'll blink back. They don't even finish off the tower. Now the rest of Wheel on the defensive. Even a TP gets canceled out, and they will not find what they were hoping for off that exchange. They're going to go back in, though. Leviathan, best they can hope for is the deny at this point. Flame break to kind break things up. Glyph comes out. Okay.
That Earth Spike a little bit short there from your Lion. They're not going to quite catch, but they get a nice deny right there, taking away the hard work that Cecil had put into the lane. And he's going to have to walk away a little shortchanged than he was hoping for initially.
Yeah, that's a 4-hero push from Wheel, and that whole time Morphling just farming away, having a field day. Looks like he does have a Perseverance now, so that Lincoln's feeling a little bit more likely perhaps. I like how Leviathan handled that, though. They don't overreact. They TP in just the heroes that they need, and then they still secured the deny. That's just about the perfect way to do it, and I guess one of the reasons why Quap, not really your ideal lasso target, is if you can't bring her from 100 to 0, then she will blink away, and then there's no catching her.
Yeah. Well, thank goodness she got those power tread shoes. A little bit of extra life.
And that point booster, yeah,
is the big thing right there. So looking to go right for that Agnum Scepter. Not really surprised. It's always at its best when you can get it nice and early. And he'll head right back to the bottom lane to continue work from there. Not a whole lot of extra movement coming out. You'd figure at this point, Mike, you know, every time his lasso does come off cooldown, he's going to look to make something happen. And it's 2 seconds till it's up, and he's got his smoke, and yep, this is what you want. Bottom lane, though, yeah. Wow, that's 2 big ultimates coming out from the ladies. Good Sonic Wave, great Laguna.
Oh, my.
And they go right through the bristle.
Wow, it's that easy. You set it up with the Yules. That's a Lina Yules that's been complete. Didn't even need the Light Strike Array. Just Sonic Wave, Laguna Blade, more than enough damage to kill the otherwise tanky Bristleback, who's got Vanguard and the beginnings of a Sange. Very tanky for this stage of the game. And Leviathan just clowning all over that corpse. 6-1, and not a huge lead for them, but they are holding steady in that 4-figure mark. 1,500 to 2K is the gold/experience edge. Well, they're looking pretty strong.
Looks like Relic is changing Wind Ranger styles here. That is going for an Agnums.
Is this Slasher's way?
It is Slasher's way. Usually Relic wanted to go for the Maelstrom first and foremost, and then followed up with an Agnums down the road.
So he wants to go like man mode carry.
Yeah.
Even though he's the pretty lady Wind Ranger. He wants to be able to stand his ground, plant those feet, and just let the arrows rain with the big crits. We'll see how it works out for him. It's a good damage-dealing build, but takes a while to come online. We'll see the Ancients under pressure. Wheel trying to take him out, but Leviathan come on in. They set it up onto Derp, but they don't get the kill. Finger comes out onto Sleesel. Not the best focus firing, and Flame Break will be off the mark. Looks like Nusham will get left behind, and Bristleback gets credit for the kill. They will defend their Ancients.
Yeah, that was a good defense right there. They had everyone in the right place at the right time, and so many long-range nukes. You got your wave, you got your power shot, Flame Break. They found a chance to kind of get at least a little snipe on the little lingering support, and like you said, they're able to save out their stack that they were putting together there for Sleesel. So they have to also kind of have a hunch that maybe Leviathan have a ward in the area. There'd be no other reason why they would kind of immediately head towards that high ground, which Leviathan do. And in fact, they even put an extra ward in to just block out the camp. So we'll see if they look to the sentry and de-ward that.
See if they can. They've already got a sentry in the vicinity, but not quite there. Oh my. They almost find something here in the mid lane. Oh, they'll find him after all. XIX Mike trying to blink into the trees. Hit by 1 stun, hit by a second. Now he'll lose his Firefly. Flame Break, not going to be enough. And it will be the Queen of Pain that gets credit for the kill on IX Mike. He was on a solo adventure there, and it does not work out in his favor. Then we'll get another one up on the board for Leviathan. But wow, did those Ancient stacks make a difference. You look at that gold graph, and they even picked up a kill in that intermediate period, but it's about dead even now on net worth. And Sleesel, the big breadwinner, now up there with the Morphling. He has a full S and Y just about to come out.
This is when he can really hit hard and start being a big presence if fights are to break out here. So we'll see if he's going to kind of hold on to a TP scroll just in case something like that is to break out, and he'll be right there. And that's when you're kind of at your worst. When you think you have a good jump-in attempt and you're already weak and wounded, battered, trying to maybe pick off a support or two, and the next thing you know, a bristle comes trucking on through, and you eat a couple of quills, and your whole team begins to just fall apart. So Leviathan have to make sure that they know exactly where Sleesel will be at all times so they don't underestimate the power that he can dish out amongst the whole squad. But here's going to be a smoke. It's going to be Wheel who look to go on the aggressive here. Looks like they have eyes for the bottom lane, which you can see it's Jenkins and Shredder side by side, at least for now.
Now there's your Aghanim's coming out on the Wind Ranger. Relic one step closer to doing the big damage, and as an intermediary item, does give him some nice stats, really helps tank him up. Now he can maybe get a little more aggressive. They will go on to Shredder down in the bottom lane. Lasso used from IX Mike. Strength Morph is underway, but Shredder just doesn't have it. The Shackle will latch, and there you go. Meanwhile, in the mid lane, they'll set up a kill attempt onto Sleesel, but the swap from Derp keeps him alive. Derp, though, will probably have to pay with his life. Lena connects on the LSA, and yeah, he's going down. Now the Quap blinks forward, still finds the Bristleback after all. That's 2 dominating streaks secured. Now Dazzle says, oh, where'd my teammates go? No grave, he gets stunned up, and it's a double for Shibby on the Lena inverse.
That is a huge fight there for Leviathan. Conveniently for Jenkins, got that haste rune, and he saw Sleesel there on the high ground dancing about because of the ward they have up there. And when he saw the Shallow Grave end, he just made the committed blink in and cleaned it all up. So I guess a bit of a caster curse there. I was expecting Sleesel to make a big impact in that team fight, but it is Leviathan who get the best of it. Though they do lose Shredder right before that in the bottom lane. It was a successful gank coming out from Wheel there, but that means that they had less hands on deck in that mid lane engagement.
Yep, and a good time to try to kill the Morphling. He's very close to his Lincolns, pulling up that gold to try and get the recipe, and he was just shy of it when he went down. So now just a minute or so in the jungle, and he will get his first core item, then probably move into that E-Blade to get that shotgun loaded up and ready for hunting season. More Aghanim Scepters around the corner. Lena's completed hers, so now that Laguna laser turns into pure damage, and Queen of Pain, well, she's got the pure damage, but now she's looking for that cooldown reduction, and only about 800 gold away from that final piece to get her prized scepter.
So we'll see if they look to kind of turn it up here now that they have those tools online. Their burst potential becomes even more dramatic. Some of these little weaker supports on the side of Wheel could be in trouble. I mean, no Shallow Grave is going to save you when you just get kind of one shot from an instant stun and ultimate combo, and you got to, looking at Leviathan, I mean, Finger of Death, Laguna Blade, and Sonic Wave all on the same team. That's just crazy to me. That is crazy. That is so much heavy instant burst. You just hope that there's plenty to survive afterward, or you just maybe hope that Leviathan can whiff, or you can bait out a couple of those blasts elsewhere. It's going to be hard. BKBs have got to be considered, but even then, the Laguna and Sonic Wave don't care about that.
Yeah, I do feel like this is a game where Leviathan need to keep the aggression up, though. Abilities like your Laguna Blade almost capped out with an Aghanims and only or level 14 on Shibby. Once he gets level 16, that's it. After that, Laguna doesn't get much stronger, and he'll have to transition into more right clicks, and that's where their strategy starts to get a little more difficult, especially as the Bristleback gets relatively larger and tankier. Maybe they move into something like a pipe or a cloak just to help absorb some of that other magical damage coming out. Harder to make these heroes scale, and this Wind Ranger, although not scary yet, rest assured here, KotLGuy, that Relic will eventually become a very hard carry in this game. We'll see a beautiful Shackle mid lane onto Shredder. There's your swap back from Derp, Magic Missile, available here when he uses the wand. They've already broken the Lincolns, but the Morphling too tanky, and we'll just walk back to safety, no problem.
He was able to start morphing up, and near the end there, he had about 2,100 life, and that's just a bit too hard.
He's a big boy.
Yeah, so you got to come well and prepared to take down your Morphling at this point. I mean, normally you want to be punishing, you know, more agility carry Morphlings earlier in the laning phase. You've even seen some lineups pull out aggro tri-lanes just to make sure they can keep him in check, and he can't kind of get to that point when he's just too hard to take down. But Shredder already has that Lincoln Sphere, so now it's just on him to build up the damage to kind of be able to contribute even more. And once he gets the E-Blade out there, oh man, your Finger of Death is going to look so much better. Doesn't really help with the Laguna. They better hope that they're in check, as far as you don't want to be putting someone ethereal while trying to get a Laguna Blade or a Sonic Wave happening. But
yeah, well, that's definitely true. There's a little bit of nuance there, but still a lot of magical damage. You still have your Scream, your LSA. Jenkins, he's used his Blink. Focus Fire comes out, but it will cool down. It is a maxed out Blink here now at this level. So Guap will be A-okay, and that is an Aghanim Scepter for her now, coming out via the Courier. So 40-second cooldown on this Sonic Wave. As soon as he gets the Ags, drops it on this stacked up hard camp, and will find a little bit extra farm for himself. Looks like at least a triple stack as he takes out a Tomato and one of them Dark Troll guys there.
No problem. Walks back to base, weak and wounded, but he might need to get back here. Mid lane, there's the jump from Mike as he's able to grab up the Earthshaker. Not your best target, but it will suffice. They get the quick kill, and they follow with a shackle shot to be safe. Ooh, whiffed Earth Spike and finger follow-up will connect on the Relic. Not the biggest of damage, but, well, an admirable effort, I guess you could say, from Nusha.
It is a level 2 finger, so slightly shorter cooldown. Not the end of the world, but very ambitious. That Wind Ranger was not dying anytime soon. Especially now the Aghanim Scepter, it's going to take a hell of a lot more than just a level 2 finger to bring her down.
Yeah, a bit of a shaky game so far from Nusha on these Earth Spikes, but he'll look to kind of shake that one off.
He does have a blink, though, which is pretty good. 1, 1, and 2. He's found 46 last hit, so they have gotten Nusha a lot of space. As far as supports go, him and Dazzle both. Wow, Dazzle has a Midas. I'm not sure if you caught that, but Goody here, he really wants that XP boost, and I think Force Staff probably on the way. We'll see what this Dazzle builds into. Not an item you see on the Shadow Priest very often.
No, certainly not. And they are obviously anticipating a bit of a longer game. I guess that kind of goes hand in hand when you're going against a Morphling, so it's a safe bet to get something like your Midas. But I figured of these two supports, it would have been maybe Derp the one to kind of take in more of the farm. But it looks like they have a lot of priority in trying to at least get Dazzle some quick burst of XP, get that Weave leveled up, get everything online and ready to go, and then he can build into more utility. Like you said, a Force Staff, a Yules, something to really contribute a whole lot more. Maybe looking to punish Leviathan with that armor, because that's something Morphling just has a hard time with, and something that could be a bit peculiar on why they picked it up here. But hold that thought, as they do make it go on to Sleesel. His back was turned. He's going to get shoved back, Adaptive Strike. Now they want to catch him from the front. Laguna Blade even committed. He's still alive for now, but there, they finally bring him down. It's like a 4-man hit squad just to break through the Bristleback, and it is Jenkins who picks it up, now dominating for him.
Yeah, Queen of Pain having a great game. 5-0-3, has had a lot of space. Despite starting as an off-laner, he's transitioning into a very scary core. I guess still technically on the 3 if you look at the net worth, but that could change if things continue at this pace. Wind Ranger still farming very nicely herself. Relic getting some space in the mid lane now, but I think this is the time when Leviathan do start to force some fights as they stay grouped up. Moving into the tier 2 up top, coming out on the Courier, it's a Yasha for Shredder. So no shotgun yet. Could be a casual Yasha, could be the beginnings of a Manta. Still a lot of options on that item as well.
He will need the agility. He just needs the armor. He needs some sort of armor. It might even need to get an AC or something, because you got to remember, even if, let's say, Goody throws together an Aghanim Scepter on this Dazzle, then the Weave becomes ridiculous. Put on top of that the Viscous Nasal Goo, plus the Wave coming up from Vengeful Spirit, and your Morphling is going to have nothing left to work with. And that's a way you can really punish him, regardless of how much farm he has.
And Bristle will probably get an Assault Cross at some point this game. He has the SNY, BKB coming up next with the Ogre Club already secured. 4th item, Assault Cross, I think works quite nicely here, especially with Wind Ranger going for this more physical-based build with the Aghanim Scepter. The more minus armor, the better.
I mean, hell, what if she just goes a Desolator on top of it?
Oh, mama.
I mean, you never know.
Daedalus Deso, that would work. That would do some damage.
We'll have to see if that's something they look to prioritize here. I mean, at least a medallion, I would figure. Do they have the medallion on the Vengeful Spirit? No.
They do not.
They
medallion
don't.
This. No medallion in this game whatsoever. You look at this net worth chart, though, with that F5 or F6 rather, and oh my, Wheel. They're just slowly grinding their way into this game. Leviathan had a pretty decent lead. It seemed like they were maybe on the verge of getting that snowball rolling, but now the snowball's starting to melt. And it's turned into a very passive mid-game, really the opposite of what this Dire team wants to do. And the longer they do this, the stronger Wheel becomes, at least to a point, for the next 5-10 minutes or so before this Morphling really starts to hit critical mass.
Okay. Mike takes flight. He is going to get sheeped up here. Shackle Shot will not connect. Wave flies out. A Flame Break. I didn't even see the animation of it, but it does bump him. Ooh, whoa! Good snipe on the Nusham. Will prompt him to pop out the wand right there. That was a little too close for comfort. He will be able to make it away. But they know that Wheel have their eyes on this top tier 1. They made a go at it before. They saw the whole Leviathan squad come and get behind it, and they decided to go elsewhere. But they are back again, down to half-life. Immediately Relic, Focus Fire, and there's going to be the Glyph. Weave also going out, a nice defensive Weave here, anticipating a possible fight as they do get the jump on the Jenkins. They pull him right back. Laguna Blade flies out. Can they get Mike? He goes to the low ground there and flies away to the south. Now Derp going to be focused. Jenkins gets the double. Now he Yules. Is there going to be a lock derp and finish him off? Ends up being a 3-man drop. Though they do lose Jenkins, they hand over a small bounty. It's still Leviathan who get the best of this skirmish, and they continue to truck down this top lane.
That was so well played by Jenkins. He set all of that up. The Lina could have finished off the Bat Rider, but actually missed the Dragon Slave, and that's what prompted that whole chase. Not only did Jenkins chase down the Bat, punish Mike for that aggressive initiation, but then turned and found a beautiful Sonic Wave that hit the vast majority of Wheel's team, or at least the 2 other heroes that ended up going down instead. And he secured that team fight for his team, 1 for 3, 14-5. It's Leviathan that strike back and show us that their mid-game team fight is absolutely living up to the hype on paper. Though Mike now picks up BOTs as his 3rd core item after his Blink Force Staff, getting that much more mobile.
Relic, lots of gold in hand here, about 3K. Really curious to see what he looks to go for here. I mean, at this point is where typically, I imagine with the old slashers build where you're in the fork in the road if you need to commit to like an MKB if the evasion's out there, or if you want to go with the Daedalus for the just more raw attack power. And I'm curious to see where he looks to put more priority in here. I mean, looking over the other side, the only real butterfly kind of candidate is Shredder's Morphling, but he's obviously, you know, stepped off for the Yasha and now looks to go for the shotgun build from here.
Yeah. I don't think Butterfly's coming on Morphling anytime soon.
Yeah.
If he gets it more like that 5th slot item, maybe even 6th slot, it's that cherry on top when you need some survivability and some big damage, but there's just so much else he needs until then. The E-Blade will definitely come out first, probably the Manta style, and could even look for something like a Scotty to give him some more stats before he goes into the evasion. So I think Wind Ranger pretty safe moving into something outside of the MKB for now, and then should have plenty of farm to transition into it as her next item after that. So with 3,400 gold, Relic will be able to get decisive in the very near future here.
Looks like they'll just kind of step off. They have a nice little ancient stack over here for Leviathan to put towards Shredder. He's got 1,600 gold. He's on good timing right now. They just want to keep this Morphling nice and filled. But the Wheel, they don't want
Smoke.
that. Yeah, they smoke. This could be a smoke towards the Roche, or it looks like they might have quite an idea of what is happening.
They've got a ward on the high ground here, giving that Gosu vision into the Ancients. They haven't revealed it yet. They know Shredder's on the high ground. Sleesel, he'll thinking about charging in, but they actually want the Ancients more than they want the heroes here, it feels like.
It's not too bad. It's a bit of an awkward position here for Leviathan, so they don't exactly know what's going on from behind. I mean, checking over their vision, they do see Sleesel, they do see the Dazzle Goody, and even Mike on the high ground there. So they do not want to be kind of pulled out into an awkward spot. But no, they're going to make a go right onto Mike, and they could get him. They will. Now they turn for the rest. Shredder, Lincoln's going to be popped, but a beautiful shackle catches him and Shibby.
What a Sonic Wave.
Sleesel pops his BKB, starts going to work, getting the quills out there, takes down Lina, now goes for Zebra. Meanwhile, Derp swaps Zebra to the low ground, and now it's going to be a massacre. Immediate triple kill right there for Jenkins. And man, Sleesel looking to get back, will get Nusham on the way out. Him and Goody go hand in hand to try to get away from this as Shredder looks to move forward. Goody will make it away. No. Gets shoved to the high ground with a nice adaptive strike, and he will fall as well. Ends up being a 4-for-2 trade, an advantage for Leviathan.
Absolutely, another very nicely executed fight from this Queen of Pain, set up for a beautiful Sonic Wave, connected on 3 heroes, and actually almost died, but again was able to blink back to safety. And I think the biggest misplay from Leviathan was that Laguna Blade. It went on a graved target, which was very unfortunate for the Lina. She was about to die. I think it was just one of those last-ditch efforts. I'm going down, I might as well just blast the laser on something that isn't a bristleback, and well, that go-around, it did next to nothing. But Morphling still lives. He now has the Ghost Scepter and 3,100 gold. So this shotgun will be loaded up after another rotation through the jungle, and will end up being a damn good timing here with this casual Yasha for now. So looking at that gold graph, it's Leviathan striking right back and finding the biggest lead we've seen this game. Nearly 3,000 net worth and almost 7,500 experience now going their way.
No attention yet on Roche from either team as well. It seems like after these big breakout fights, there's just not enough left to kind of look to follow it up with a Roche objective quite yet.
It was also this ward here that helped him win that fight. This was the
oh
one
yeah, that's the one that saw Mike on the high ground.
Exactly.
And they're like, our best chance at taking this fight is being able to take out Mike first and foremost, which they definitely have the burst potential to do so.
And they baited it well. They kind of played like that ward wasn't there, so they made Mike feel pretty safe on the high ground. And then when they were actually ready to get things started, they just jumped on him, and he did not seem ready for it. You look at that experience edge, and most of it is coming from the offlaners. Queen of Pain, level 18. You look at Mike on the Bat Rider, and he is only 12. What a disparity.
Yeah, you are right. So as he looks to try to play catch-up here, being the initiator for their squad. On the other side, Leviathan obviously getting the idea that when Wheel made that movement towards the Ancient stack, they definitely had a ward nearby, so they already take that ward down. And now that will free up a little bit of concern if Wheel is going to know what's happening if they wanted to do Roche, and that's exactly what they do. Morphling waveforms from the safe side, just in case, and we'll start going to work on him. And he's getting some assistance from the other side, and it looks like he himself will be able to do it as long as he doesn't get bashed too hard here.
Yeah, it doesn't seem like Wheel are at all interested in trying to take a fight around the Roche pit, and I think for good reason. Maybe on their terms, if they can find the perfect initiation, they can do it well, but Leviathan have just such great team fight in this tiny little corridor. Even the Earthshaker is so valuable here, and they'll just keep spamming it down. It's a Morphling with an Aegis here at the 33-minute mark. That is Roche number 1, and, well, now Shredder feeling a little bit more safe, and maybe it's hunting season here, Dakota, with an E-Blade at the ready, a shiny new Aegis. I don't see any reason why Leviathan would not want to take a team fight.
For the side of Wheel, though, if a team fight is to break out, let's see what they got to really offer here. Dazzle trying to throw together a Yules after the Force Staff, and for Sleesel, more their core Bristleback, he's going to get a heart. He's already got the Reaver on hand, and it looks like he just spent a bit of his money here. Could even already have, nope, just it looks like the Reaver for now. So he's going to be pretty durable, but without a team to back him up, and he's one of the last survivors, it could be still pretty tricky for him. Wind Ranger, though, goes for the BKB next. So a full, fresh, and shiny 10-second BKB for your Wind Ranger, which is obviously not a surprise. It's a pretty ridiculous magic damage game here.
This is one of these games where it sort of sucks both ways. You know, you don't really want the BKB against all that pure damage, but at the same time, it's an absolute necessity. Without it, you're just going to get stun locked down. You're very susceptible to the shotgun and Morphling. Like you said, the obvious choice for Relic, but still a tough one. This neuters his damage output, at least for now, and extends the window where Leviathan can force team fights and feel pretty strong doing so.
He had eyes for Jenkins there in the bottom lane, and as Relic blinked in, Jenkins blinked out the same moment. So
and now it's Team Lincoln's here. This is very interesting. Against a Bristleback of all heroes, Morphling got his early on, and Lena will go for a third item. Lincoln's no BOTs, no Blink Dagger, instead just wants some survivability. But that Viscous Nasal Goo, one of the best abilities in the game for getting rid of Lincoln's, as it only has a 1.5 second cooldown.
Yeah, could be for herself, could be for the Morphling. It's a secondary, but we'll see here as now Leviathan creep down from the north here towards this tier 2. Feeling confident now that Shredder's come more online on his Morphling. And especially with having the Aegis, you got so much time to really work with here if you want to try to maybe take some objectives with it. They have a couple of tier 3s they can still take from Wheel here. Wheel looking to possibly defend it here. They already have both Relic and Goody waiting just in case. But for everyone else, they're going to just try their best in the meantime to split push and continue to find up their farm. Sleesel wants to finish out that heart. Mike is currently de-warding over near that Roche area right now, trying to build his own BKB. And it looks like they're just going to have to sack the tier 2 tower. Leviathan do get it, and they're just going to move on to their next target.
Yeah, no gem on the Bat Rider yet, so only so much Mike can do to try and control the map. I don't think there's a gem on any of their supports either. Like you said, free tier 2 in the top lane. Leviathan will have another 2.5 minutes or so on the Aegis, coming up on that 2-minute mark sooner rather than later. So if they want to make use of it, they will have to continue staying aggressive to force some skirmishes, but they may be happy just splitting the map and finding more farm themselves. See Quap using that ult, and another Perseverance picked up. I guess this could be a refresher for the Queen of Pain.
Another Lincoln Sphere,
seems more likely to be the Lincolns, and I'm a little surprised, frankly, but I guess 3 Lincolns, you know, you goo one off, and all right, have another. Goo it again, have another, and eventually you're gonna block something good.
I mean, it's that, or we're gonna see a refresher orb, and she will have 2 sonic waves in one fight, which is lovely. I mean, it's
2
already
BKBs.
It's already a pretty short cooldown, but 2 BKBs.
I feel like refresher is really good on Quap if you have BKB and Scythe, because then it's not just your ultimate, but you're refreshing 2 very key items, and having 2 of those in one fight can actually be a make it or break it. But just refreshing a 40-second ultimate when you have an Aghanim seems a little peculiar when you could pick up something with a little more utility. Or, I mean, it's very late for an Orchid, but even that over a Lincoln's, I think it just gives you a lot more in a game where you need to be kind of a carry, at least do a lot of damage and secure some kills. We'll see a smoke rotation from Leviathan. Haystrewn onto Jenkins. Blinks in. They're going in deep here. They want one, but they won't find it. And the jig is up as they make their way back. LSA won't even connect on creeps. And they will just move through the jungle and make a little space for that bottom tier 2 tower to go down, which Shredder does solo.
Yeah. A little space creation there, hoping to maybe get a grab, but that Dazzle a little too slippery. Meanwhile, Wheel doing their own split push. Relic able to focus fire this tier 2, and no one looking to stop him except this Glyph, but there will be a TP rotation. So good job from Wheel to kind of relieve the pressure from the other lanes. Shredder might not be able to really use this Aegis. This is where I would love Zyori if I could see how much time is left on the Aegis itself, but I would wager probably 30 seconds to a minute.
About 10 seconds here, sir.
Okay.
It's about half past the tick, and if you cut that in half again, yeah, it's 5 to 10 seconds. That baby's going down.
Money to burn.
Don't get me started on the clock.
Uh-oh, up top, Shredder. Oh, they break the Lincolns, and that's all he needs to go back to his replicate. Oh, well, Lincoln's doing some work there.
Yeah, I mean, you know, of course, it's the Batrider lasso, which could be most important and one of the biggest tools for Wheel. But it's Jenkins who gets a nice little pickoff right there. He snags Goody on the Dazzle.
Tries to TP home, but can't quite get it. Now the big item pickup for Leviathan. Your Blink Dagger on one flying Zebra. Also level 11. This could be the reveal up top and a good time to do it. Are they just going to go straight onto Relic? They set it up with the Yules. Little miscommunication there in terms of the fissure. Okay. All right, big burst damage. Mike takes a laser. Now gets slam dunked. They bring down the Venge. It's a quick 2 for Leviathan. All of a sudden have a 5v2 on the field as they regain a lot of momentum here.
Clearly Wheel not anticipating the trap to be sprung right there, but they easily move forward and try to set everything up there with the Yules, and even with the backup of that Derp Vengeful Spirit, it just does not matter. And it just feels like Wheel know that they cannot quite take a team fight yet, and they will just try their best to just continue to find the farm elsewhere until they are in strong fighting shape.
It's a Lincolns.
Okay, they move mid lane onto Sleesel here. They get a Yules. Here comes Shredder waveforming forward, but he's just going to pop the BKB and say see you later as he heads back to base.
So was that a 10-second BKB charge? No, 9 seconds. Still, obviously you want to kill the Bristle there, but not too bad for LVT getting that big item on cooldown. Their third Lincoln's now ready to rock and roll. Look at all that blue.
That is just something you don't see very often. A lot of hate.
I feel like it's almost rare to see 1 Lincoln's these days, let alone 2, and now a third. This is turning into the Leviathan special.
Well, Leviathan, I said in the draft, they're a team that like to be innovative in their own way. So they feel that the Lincolns is something that's going to be very useful to them here. I'm curious to see if it's going to be a game changer or not. Wheel probably not anticipating that they're going to have all this extra bit of protection, and it could definitely throw them off if you're putting a lot behind maybe a big initiation right there, as I miss a great kill onto Mike, apparently, as they get just the quick jump and zap.
Yep, there used to be a Bat Rider there, but he is not so tanky. It's just an Ogre Club, and I think Shibby just blasted him down. Lincoln Sphere is great against the Bat Rider, but it seems like they've got enough catcher initiation themselves that 3 Lincolns is a little bit of overkill for the Bat, who's already having trouble finding initiations. Now Dazzle set up on in the jungle. It's a double Yules. The second one was Dazzle's, but they've got a Finger, a Hex, and no Shallow Grave for you, Goody.
7 to 23 for Leviathan. Ridiculous score. Net worth advantage doesn't quite match what you would anticipate with a score like that. As Wheel, even though they've been picked off time and time again, have still been able to continue to find some side farm for either Relic or the Bristleback. Real damage output this game.
Well, Mr. Roche up in about a minute 45 here. So a lengthier timer, but Leviathan not going to be too concerned about it. They will just continue pressuring. Objective Dota coming out here. Dakota will get the tier 2 tower mid, and now they look towards the high ground. No glyph has been used, so it will be available. Radiant team will get a tier 2 in the top lane as this push comes out. There's your glyph. Dazzle in the grave for another 10. No buyback, but Leviathan will not press their luck. They see all the TPs coming in, and they do not want a piece of this Wind Ranger, at least not yet.
Yeah.
And speaking of Relic, he's got a Javelin, so maybe it will be that MKB first after all, just trying to anticipate where that Morphling may go. But as we suspected, looks like Scotty will be on the horizon with yet another Ultimate Orb in the inventory.
Here comes Wheel. They smoke up and maybe figure that Leviathan are going to be going right for the Roche. It's not up yet, but they want to be there just in case to contest. So they will get the idea here in a moment. That's not up. That replicate, oh, it's actually going to be used for Shredder. Can he get the grab? Lincoln's is going to be popped, and the swap back onto Shredder. He's in trouble.
Whoa!
Big jump in Echo from Flying Zebra catches everyone, but there's no follow-up. And now after the BKBs are going to be popped, it's Wheel looking to clean up. The Laguna does fly out and finishes off Mike, but now Goody. Self-shallow grave. Yules is going to be thrown up onto Sleesel here as he tries to make a run. Derp not going to be so fortunate as he does get lasered down. And now, Goody, the next target. There goes one Lincolns as he tries to get off at least the poison touch and, well, gets shoved back. Shallow grave. Oh, the sonic wave doesn't quite connect and would have been over dramatic, but they still get the kill nonetheless. Three do go down.
Oh my, that Earthshaker making the plays. That was just incredible. Not very often you get to see a 5-hero Echo Slam, but Flying Zebra making the space for the Morphling to make it out, and it looked like, okay, just trade 1 for 1, Earthshaker for the bat, but no, they found the 2 supports as well, and turns it into an amazing fight for Leviathan, and the perfect time for it. Now they get an uncontested Roshan, nothing that Wheel can do about it. This will be another Aegis of the Immortal going the way of most likely the Morphling, though. He's not even in the pit right now. Maybe it's Shibby who's going to take it on the Lena, as he does have an inventory slot down.
He does come back at a replicate, though, so he's there ready to party.
Oh, yeah, he's got a slot also. So, yeah, it'll probably go to Shredder, but... Wow, fights like that. Showing how tanky the Morphling is, and Mike just can't find the initiations that he wants. That was just a bad miscommunication from Wheel as well. They catch him with the lasso, and then they swap instantly to break the lasso. They're on the same team. That's...
Chalk it up to the power of the Lincolns. I mean, you got to make sure that...
just blame the Lincolns!
I'm just saying, like, when you got a Lincolns in play, you got to make sure that either it's you who's there to pop it or someone else. And maybe they were hoping that a swap or the stun was going to be there to help out. Mike obviously, used his Force Staff. In the heat of a moment like that, that's when crucial decision-making is, where it really becomes tested. And that can make or break the game. And that's what really separates a very experienced player from a not-so-experienced player. And for now, it looks like Wheel just kind of really got caught out right there. The Earthshaker dunk wasn't dramatic as far as damage, but it locked them in place and allowed Leviathan to really come on through and put a good on-second showing. So with that, Wheel now looking to come back on the recovery path here. 8-26. They are down about 10K of net worth now to Leviathan.
I just saw that Echo Slam on instant replay, and it was just as good the second time, man. That just nerd chills to the max. So what do you do if you're Wheel at this point? Pretty far behind, about 10K net worth, 20K experience, 8-26. They're hanging in there. It's not the easiest team to siege high ground against, but it just keeps getting more and more difficult. Now the full Scotty up on the Morphling to go with that Aegis, and it'll be Leviathan that smoke up. They do want to put the pressure on. They've got all their ultis available, and for them, that means it's time to fight. Nice aggressive wards down as well. One kind of in this mid lane here, and then one in the bottom to give them some intel in this whole area.
Breaking high ground. Many people as of recent feel like this is one of the toughest struggles in the game right now, and can prolong it into an extra 10, 20, 30 minutes.
Is the rubber band going to snap, Dakota?
I don't know. I'm not going to say that word ever again, that's for sure. So, well, as they continue to try to find the rebound, I'll go with that one. Shredder moves into the base. He's got the extra Lincolns on hand. Gets another one.
Stinking with the Lincoln. Tier 3 tower getting low. Looks like the illusions will almost finish it off. About 57 HP left. Leviathan will try to slow siege. Here's your lasso initiation right onto Jenkins. They pull the Quap into the tower by BKB. Blinks back to safety. They just don't have the burst damage to lock her down. I see why you're tempted to go for the Queen of Pain when you know the Lincolns is down, but if you can't kill her quickly enough, she just blinks back, and it's essentially a wasted lasso. Now Leviathan can just reinitiate. They charge up to the high ground. Tier 3 tower falls. No glyph for another 20 seconds. This seems very different for this Radiant side. Whoa!
Got him. Goody goes down. Now the finger flies out into Relic. Jump in burst. Can they finish off the Wind Ranger? They do, and the Laguna goes in thereafter. A quick cleanup on 3 as the Relic will buy back to look to pull it up what could be one of their final hurrahs. But no, Sleesel trucks on forward, looks to make them pay. They get down Jenkins. They could get Newsham next. Nice little fissure comes out from Flying Zebra to slow them down, but it does not stop Sleesel. Double kill for him. Your Bristleback is finally showing his big ugly mug as Shibby goes for the TP. Nope, not happening. Good shackle comes out from Relic and they lock her down and she will drop. Triple kill for your Bristleback. Very nicely played. Strong defense from Wheel. They do have to expend the buyback there for Relic, but I think it was well worth it.
A very worthy buyback indeed, sir. Before that final kill, it was about even on net worth. That last one gives the Radiant side a good 1,800, 2K net worth gain out of that fight, and like you said, they hold their barracks, and that's really what's important. They lose a tier 3 tower. They do they don't use their glyph either, but showing a strong sign of life. The Morphling got very low in that fight. He replicated out and did not use his Aegis. Now with only a minute left, I think he probably should have just hung around and actually used the Aegis there. So at this rate, it may expire. They have buybacks available on all 3 heroes in the grave. Leviathan will certainly be able to defend if Wheel get too aggressive here, but they won't be foolish enough to go for the high ground, and they will retreat after that tier 2 tower in the bottom lane goes down. Or did I speak too soon? They're coming back here.
They know they have some time here. There are definitely both buybacks available for Leviathan, but they kind of second guess. Maybe they were considering pushing forward to get that buyback out from at least Shibby on his Lina, but it looks like the consensus will be that they pull back for now. They do have all outer towers down already from both sides, so it's a matter of being able to break the high ground, and usually you need the, extra bit of boost from your Aegis to help you out for most of the time.
Usually so.
Oh, okay. Well,
good night, Benj.
Derp thought that maybe he was just going to be able to have a little toss-up right there with a little Mirage illusion, but Shredder shows his watery mug and shoots him down.
A little guy named Shredder here. He will lose his Aegis, so that's a bit unfortunate for him. And yep, down it goes. Now the MKB out for the Wind Ranger. So Relic finally getting to that stage of the game where he really is more of a right-click carry. And if he catches you with a shackle and you feel the power of that focus fire, you're going down quick. Huge damage, and with that 0% reduction, the damage per second is actually kind of absurd. So Leviathan will slow things down a little bit as Wheel are starting to rebound just a pinch. And they'll go back to farming, maybe waiting for this next round of core items, though I wonder what they're waiting for. Seems Quap, maybe looking for a Scotty of her own, another ultimate orb. This is like team ultimate orb here. Boy, boy, oh boy.
Lots of stats, lots of life, lots of durability. I mean, to withstand the quills and the huge right-click damage that's going to be coming out from this Wind Ranger, too. That's something that just cannot be ignored. MKB complete. Obviously, already has the Ag, so that focus fire is just going to be out of control. And he still has 8 seconds to work with on the BKB here. Even your Relic Wind Ranger, not going to be the easiest target to kind of handle. And really, it's a bit of a toss-up here, it feels like, between both teams as far as who's going to be able to take it. I mean, my first inkling is that this Morphling is really farmed, and Morphling should be able to have it in the long run, but this new day and age of Dota, really anything can happen.
Mike about to get caught in the jungle. They do use the smoke to get there, but Mike makes it away after taking a Laguna to the face. Nicely done there, and the Bat Rider will live. He's hanging on to a gem. That would have been a big kill for Leviathan and would have made this bottom lane push very easy, though Mike definitely has enough gold for a buyback. Will they try their luck once again? Last time they had the Aegis, though remember they didn't actually use it, so they could look for kind of a similar fight, and this time without a buyback on Relic. If things start the way they did last go around, could be a much different outcome.
I want to say they didn't use it the last 2 times. Also.
Oh, that's right. Yeah, it expired both times. I think so.
Now they're coming down this bottom lane, or at least they want to split push and force the TPs back so that they could think about going back and going for a possible Rosh when it does spawn. But at least for now, they're going to just add what pressure they can. Quick cleanup right there from Wheel and from Relic, and they should be able to keep this back. This is where you need to make your crucial decision making as far as what is the right fight to take to try to put a lid on this game.
Yeah. They are doing a little split push, though. Queen of Pain is in the top. She's got her boots of travel now, so they have the luxury of splitting the lanes up. You can farm one, push the other, and then have her join the party once things start to get hot and heavy. Bristleback, though, the big guy they've got to get through to get near the base, or really even the rest of Wheel's team. Now with Heart, AC, Vanguard, SNY, and a BKB, he is just massive. Also has boots of travel of his own. His BKB is down to 6 seconds. He could dump the SNY for something else, but he is pretty much capped out at this point.
At AC, man, oh man.
Yeah.
14 plus 15 armor, all that extra bit of minus armor thrown out there. It's pretty crazy.
Dazzle did not go for the Aghanims yet, but he did pick up a Blink Dagger, going heavy mobility with a Fort Staff as well as a Yule's. And also level 17, so Weave is at that point where it does quite a bit, whether you're using it aggressively or defensively. It's not something you can scoff at. And you'll see Leviathan, as soon as they see that defensive weave up, they just back out and say, we're not killing that bristle. Let's just wait it out, boys, and if that means we need to go back and farm, that's what we're going to do.
It's not easy to wait out. I mean, the cooldown on weave is already so low. It's only 40 seconds, and how long does it last
24.
for now?
It's like 55% uptime, something like that, 60%.
Ridiculous. So
yeah.
there's a small window if Leviathan wanted to be able to make work before or after the weave. It's going to be tricky.
Yeah. So does Wind Ranger go the slasher build or not here, Dakota? I want to see a Daedalus. 1,200 gold up, still a ways off of it, but very curious what Relic has in mind for his next big-ticket item.
It's already somewhat the slasher build. It's just as far as maybe
close.
Building on more damage on top of it.
Yeah,
I think just when you get either the MKB or Daedalus, it becomes more situational, and MKB is obviously plenty of damage, but getting more of it certainly doesn't hurt. But finding the farm to do it, because from what we've seen, it's Leviathan who've controlled the majority of the map and the majority of the farm. So for what's left of it, they have to hand over to Sleesel and Relic, and it can become a bit tricky. You also don't want to be caught on your own. So.
And Roche is coming on back. He's up in less than a minute here, 25 seconds away as that timer helps us out. Last time Wheel lost an unfortunate fight after that huge Echo Slam right before Roche and handed it over to Leviathan. This go around, however, it will be Roche 3, which means Aegis and that yummy, yummy cheese. And Wheel will need to put up a fight. This is a Roche you absolutely want to contest. Mike has a gem this time, so he's getting the stage set, clearing out the wards, making sure Dire don't have any vision or sneaky wards that will allow them to initiate on him like last time. And there will be a replicate in the Roche pit, so they'll see it right away. Yeah. Leviathan, rendezvous for a smoke and start to make the rotation.
Wheel did have to get Relic to defend this top push, though. I mean, with 3 range creeps, 2 siege catapults coming in, someone's got to do something about it. So because they had to pull back the Wind Ranger, this might be Leviathan's time to move into the pit, but they actually pass on that. They want to make a jump into the woods. They see Derp here, and they get the quick pick, and he goes down, and it is going to be followed up with a disconnect from Relic, who is back in the base, and, well, they are thinking about going potentially towards the Roche, I would imagine, here after. But, yep, looks like we are going to have a bit of a lull here.
Yep.
Do you know what time it is so we can make sure?
There we go.
There it is. Okay.
Time's a ticking. So, yeah, look at this. Everyone very scared of their mini-map getting looked at.
If they want to feel better, I could throw this up or something. Yeah, there we go. There. Now there's the bracket, by the way. Maybe we have people who came by and didn't really notice. This hasn't been updated to our more recent America results, as Not Today did best Void Boys. They're going to be down in the bottom lower bracket.
2-0, no less.
Yeah, 2-0 for that game. So that means that the winner of this matchup between Leviathan and Wheel are going to be facing Not Today. And then tomorrow we get to see E-Hug face Complexity, and Boreal Esports, the other team next to Void Boys who made it through Phase 1. They get to duke it out with probably what many consider the heavy favorites for this whole bracket in Evil Geniuses.
Yes, no doubt about it. E.g., the big favorites here, but not a team that could be upset. You never know. Maybe one of these teams will do it. Maybe it will be Boreal after all. So just waiting here on IX Mike. It looks like he hopped up to use the facilities, or at least his team claims, and we'll just have to be patient with Roche on the horizon. This is a very scary time to have a Vengeful Spirit in the grave. It just takes one pick-off to deter the other team from heading on into that pit, and
yeah.
Well, Venge is a big one. She's mostly for the scouting tool, I think, is why she's so valuable around the pit. And with her down, Leviathan should be able to get Aegis and Cheese, no problemo.
I'm showing the game. It's a 2-minute delay, so
yeah,
whatever.
It's only an issue if these guys are cheaters.
No,
which I don't think they are.
No one's looking for any of that.
Come on, Mike, where are ya?
I had to use the bathroom. Apparently couldn't use it.
Don't eat Hot Pockets before an official match, Mike. This should be Dota 101.
It's okay. It's okay.
No, I'm just kidding. Just joshing him. I can't resist the urge to fire a shot at Mike.
Oh,
wow.
Okay.
Damn, he's bringing out the big guns. Watch out.
Yeah. Okay. Well, it looks like he's back. So, gentlemen, if you wouldn't mind, I wouldn't mind if we would get on with the show. The game is already it's a nice long one here. 53 minutes in. Very intense, no surprise.
Jenkins dishing it out, man. I like it. You got to give Mike a taste of his own medicine. Here we go. So what does Leviathan do? Do they go for the Roshan, or do they just go for the base? And it looks like they will go for the former. They double back right into the Roche pit. Two of their heroes still smoked up. They never even made it to that party to finish off the Venge. But here we go. Now with the Medallion, this should be a nice, easy Roche, except Wheel are starting to move. They're smoked up. Replicate on the high ground. Will not scout it out, but Nusham outside of the pit. He breaks the smoke on the Bristle, backs up. Dire still don't have visual confirmation. Mike flying over, finds a lasso onto the Zebra. Nice, let him off to the side, but a big Sonic Wave from Jenkins. Shallow Grave comes out onto Mike. It's just a dead shaker to get it started, but now Sleesel on the front line, stunned up. They're attacking him from all sides. The Bristle gets turned into a little piggy. Do they have the damage to bring him down? And the other side, Shredder finishes off the Wind Ranger, and she'll now be stuck in the grave for 110 seconds. Sleesel out of mana, running low on HP. They're just kiting him around. He may be big, but he's not unkillable.
God.
Light Strike Array will finish him off, and it's a 1 for 3. If you don't count the Venge, a 1 for 4 if you count that one. And now that big frog, that is Roche, will be handing over an Aegis and a Cheese.
I mean, there were two separate fights there, but I could not keep my eyes off that Cecil engagement. He is a behemoth. It took so much work and sweat to bring him down, but they eventually did get it there. So a well-worthy reward as they were able to follow it up with a quick Roche. An Aegis in hand again for Shredder on his Morphling, and the ball is in Leviathan's court again. So they will look to maybe make another high ground attempted push here, as Shibi will kind of keep the pressure here on the top-hand side, and we'll need to start thinking about what they can do for a high ground defense. They still have about a minute without Relic and no buyback, so Leviathan could catch on to this and try to make a push happen sooner than later.
Wow, Refresher now up on Lena. That's a double Laguna Blade, and he's got the mana pool for it. This is a good item at this stage of the game. Bristle will buy back. Remember, the Wind Ranger does not have one available. Still on cooldown. Oh, no, actually low on gold. It has cooled down now, but doesn't have the money. Now Derp gets initiated on. Will live through the initial onslaught, but dies to Jenkins as he screams forward. Now Sleesel hot off the buyback, trying to make some space for his team. The double Laguna on Mike. Oh, he buys back. But the damage has been done. It's a bottom lane of Barracks down. Still a 5v3 as more buybacks coming out for Wheel. They stun up Sleesel. He'll be relegated back towards the well. I think Leviathan may just want to cut their losses here, not overextend, and just head back after claiming their objective, especially with Wind Ranger on the horizon. She is the big one that can do a lot of damage, and it looks like they will do that as they move out of the base with all 5 still alive, Aegis and Cheese still in tow.
Yeah. They can look to back up. Pull out a bit of a recovery. Fortunately for Wheel, now this time they will have Relic at the ready. And really, they don't have a lot of long cooldowns either. I mean, Lasso's going to be up and ready to go. Obviously, Bristleback doesn't have to worry anything about cooldowns whatsoever. And, well, for Dazzle, he already put out a nice little defensive weave, it looks like. But, yeah, there's going to be the jump, the Lasso pull. They're going for Flying Zebra here, and they will get the Earthshaker support. So a nice initial grab for them. He did have Echo Slam, so that will not be available for Leviathan. And maybe because of that, Leviathan will just kind of wait it out a bit.
That's cute. It's a nice pickoff. Maybe buys them another 45 seconds to a minute while they wait for the Earthshaker, but Wheel had to spend so much for that last quote-unquote defense where they still lost Barracks anyhow. They have 2 buybacks now on cooldown on 2 of their cores, the Bat Rider and the Bristle. That's the only recovery kill they got out of that entire exchange, is just that Earthshaker as Leviathan try to reinitiate in the mid. So that really hurts their bottom line, and even though their item progression is already stymied a bit, that is certainly not going to help. Bristle looking towards his last item, a Skull Basher, soon to be an Abyssal Blade with 2,300 gold in savings. Outside of that, I don't think too much has changed in these inventories. Mike may be looking for a Lincoln's of his own with an ultimate orb, but outside of that, it's just more of the same.
Leviathan not looking to let this up while they had such a clear-cut advantage, it felt like, from the start of this one. All those early game pickoffs coming together. They were able to build up a lot of space and momentum. Shredder was able to put together the crucial inventory here for your Morphling, but Wheel have proved to be quite tenacious in their defense. Really making them work for it there. And, well, though they do lose their bottom set of racks, they are looking to fight on. And really, I don't know if they've committed to a point where they're just going to have to try their best at a defense, or if they'll look to kind of clear out some of these waves and push out some of these lanes so they can look to go on the assault here. I say that, but now Sleesel eats a bit of damage. It is from the back, so your shotgun is feeling like a bit of a pea shooter. Sleesel will just shrug that one off and head back into the base side.
Yeah, definitely more like a BB gun than anything else there. About a minute and 10 seconds or so left on the Aegis, so it could be a good time for Leviathan to take this fight. Mike jumping in deep, but gets turned into a pig straight away. They stun him, they give him the laser, even a slam dunk from the Earthshaker. A bit of overkill to ensure that Batrider gets a first-class ticket back towards the grave. Now another LSA on 2. Both supports get melted. No buyback on the Venge, but there is one on the Dazzle. Now Leviathan on the aggressive. They'll dive the base at 5v2. They want Relic. There's your buyback from the Dazzle. They force out the BKB on the Wind Ranger. They don't kill her, but now that'll be on cooldown for over a minute. They don't have a glyph, and Wheel's base will be open for the taking as Leviathan move in and tighten the noose that much more.
All right, this could be the final hurrah of a defense from Wheel. Down 2. Can they get it done? Whoa, big slap comes through. It's Shredder cleaning house as he quickly drops down the Dazzle. Relic could be next. Will be next. He goes down. Buyback forced to come out. And if they can't stop this game 1, it's going to be going over to Leviathan. Nice shackle, though. Does catch. They're going for Jenkins here. Can they get the raw power? They can. Queen of Pain goes down. Shredder, though, looking for Relic. Can't catch him with the waveform. Now turns his sights on the Sleesel, but that's a big bristleback. Might need to kind of save him for last, but it looks like he is all that's left. Relic does go down 2 minutes, no buyback, and Sleesel just trying his damnness here to get what he can. Running out the base, leaving his last set of racks exposed.
Oh, man.
And Leviathan, it looks like they will be able to take game 1 in this best of 3.
Absolutely. 43-15. It took him 60 minutes. Wheel made him work for it, but Leviathan looking hot in game number 1. And, well, if that keeps up, I think this series is destined to be another 2-0. That was dirty. IX Mike had a mixed game on the Batrider, had some good initiations, a couple of slightly too aggressive plays there, but the off-lane Queen of Pain, I think, was what really tipped the scales. We saw in that mid-game, it was dead even otherwise, and you compare the off-laners, and it's just a world of difference. One's a core, and one's living on welfare. And Jenkins just got so much done that game. Just look at him, 16-3 and 17 on an off-lane Queen of Pain. If she was mid, I don't think that'd be surprising at all, but as an off-laner, talk about huge game impact.
Yeah, I like the draft that they threw together with all that burst. They found plenty of pickoffs throughout the game and created plenty of space. Shredder got what he wanted. The last engagement there, Mike, a bit ambitious with that jump. You know, but sometimes you gotta make Hail Mary plays like that to try to bring the game back. Yeah. So you gotta respect that.
The bristle was massive, but at the end of the game, it just felt like he couldn't do anything. Sure, they couldn't kill him easily, but he couldn't stop them from taking barracks. They got tanky enough that the quills didn't really hurt that much, and it seemed like Team Lincoln worked out. 3 Lincoln Spheres on the Dire side, and even though Bristle could break it more often than not, they still had plenty to go around.
All right, well, that's game number 1. We got game 2 coming up. It's going to be match point here for Leviathan as they try to close out the series 2-0. And, well, Wheel, they want to look to fight back as we look to jump into our next match. Sit tight. I'm KotLGuy. That's Zyori. More Dota coming right up.